Cancer.
Hello Cancer, this is your forecast for September 2015, and this month the main focus will be on your communication. And this is because you have the Sun, you got Jupiter there, you got the new moon there, so you have this little cluster of really wanting now to communicate, to express yourself. Some of you might be out and about traveling too here, maybe a late vacation perhaps, or even if it's just a weekend getaway, this month can really behoove you to do so, just kind of catching up with your energies of tranquility. And I really feel that you Cancerians are really going to feel the shift taking on place now, because Saturn, which has been kind of giving you extra burdens, extra responsibilities, kind of holding back that self-expression because of Saturn has been there, you're going to feel lighter now. And this is because, thank God, Saturn is moving out of your 5th house, which has been blocking that energy of your individuality, your creativity, and the inner sun fun child, so to speak, that wants to hang a little looser, a little happier. Now that Saturn moves out of this area on the 17th, you'll feel it, I think, more or less right away. You had a little sense, a little feel of it early in the year, January, February, but then Saturn went retrograde, went back into the old area just to kind of wrap up those loose ends. And this is what you Cancerians now are done with, and I'm happy for you because you are such an inner, shall I say, sun child in your own true respect. And so now also as far as children, for those of you having children and children up in the teens and the 20s, kind of trying to go out there and manifest their lives and whatnot, that might have been a little bit extra responsibility upon you too. Now that is also lifting. You're going to see how the interaction with children and that extra responsibility that you've been feeling. Don't get me wrong, as parents there's always a level and a sense of responsibility, but not that Saturnian responsibility. So this is going to come together. It's lightening your energy. You're going to be feeling more at ease. For those of you who are creative, which very many of you are, you're going to feel that whatever has been holding or binding you is going to let loose. It's going to come out that much easier. And I think, you know, for what it's worth, it's very healing too to get out that creative energy, that spark. Why? Because when we create, we become alive. We're giving life to new areas of what has been held on the inside. Now it's coming out. It's very healthy. So you're going to see now Saturn's going to take on more of a turn. As we're talking about health, this is where your, I won't say concern, but where your consciousness layers are going to be. It's more like, what am I eating? Am I getting enough workout? Am I sitting too much? Those kind of things. Saturn's going to help you attain those life lessons, and how you can really, at the end of that Saturnian cycle, 3 years from now, you will feel that you're better equipped. You've gained more conscious awareness of what you eat and how you manage, shall I say, your day-to-day level of stress. For some of you, it's going to be, how can you step back and relax and perhaps put more spiritual contents into your life. The 6th house is always intricately connected to the 12th house of consciousness, which is your higher consciousness. It's your subconsciousness. It's where we dream those dreams that are important to maintain balance and harmony. So it's more going to be you adjusting these vibratory levels over the next 2.5, 3 years. Very exciting time for you, especially for those of you Cancerians that are wanting to start to dive into more of the spiritual faculties. I think you will definitely be able to not just draw a lot of advantage from it, but you're ready for it. Your Neptune up there in the 9th house is really thirsty now for spiritual enlightenment, spiritual deepening, finding the answers to why are we here in the first place. How do we connect in the overall? So we'll be talking more about that as we go through the coming months and of course the coming years. But I feel that you're so ready now, that you're sensing it, anticipating that there's a shift. And some of you are like, I can feel it, but where? Where is it going to come from? Where do I aim? How do I start? Where do I open up? So we'll talk more about that. And I love my conversations with you, Cancer, because you have what it takes. You're a part of the healing group upon the planet, right? Like light workers. You're a water sign. You nurture naturally. You know you're here for a reason. So yes, and right now this month I think communication is going to be about those factors. The Sun, Jupiter, the new moon in the third house for communication will, you'll start hearing yourself talking about these matter. How can you expand Jupiter now in this area of knowledge? The third house is knowledge, the ninth house is wisdom. So when Jupiter is knocking on the door of knowledge, it's automatically knocking on the ninth door there of wisdom, the higher consciousness. So you've had time now over this last year to look at your value system. Yes, it has been focusing on your income, your money, and all that the second house does correlate to, but it's also other values. Values aren't just money. It's more, what do we feel? How do we feel? What am I worth? What do I deserve? All of those things. You've been growing more so empowered to these needs in your conscious state, that now you're wanting to expand it. Now you know who you are and what you deserve. You've been working through that in your relationships this whole last year. And now that Saturn's out of there, you've had the squares between Uranus and Pluto. Those squares are pretty much over. You've been able to mirror yourself in those self-worth mirrors. And so now it's like, what do I want to do about it? And where do I go to do it? How do I do it? So now knowledge is coming in. Jupiter is going to put you on the track of what we call also synchronicity and serendipity. You'll see how places and situations and even new people coming into your life, maybe new groups or of people with similar, should I say, longing or lusting for higher insight to spirituality may come along. Because your old friends, they may still be where they're at, and just plugging along their route. But we want to resonate with the people when we learn new things, so we can have that to talk about. I'm sure you're going to start finding a lot of like-minded people now. Now we have the Sun, which is you. You're focusing on this with knowledge and communication and short distance travel now. The new moon is there. This is when we put down our intentions in this area. The new moon will be here on 13th, 20 degrees in Virgo. And so if you have any personal planets around 20 degrees, you will see that the new moon is going to be knocking on and ricocheting off of those planets too. Being in Virgo, Virgo too is very health-oriented, health-minded, and very mindful of many things. Virgo is really good about organizing and setting things straight, so you might feel there too that this can enhance you. And of course, the new moon is also when we write our abundance check to ourselves. And I still get questions like, what do we do once we've written our check? Well, you save it until the full moon or into the new moon of the next month. Then you just tear it up. That's how simple it is. You'll find the video on my website if you need to listen to it and haven't listened to it. It'll show you how you write that check to yourself. Now, another wonderful thing taking place here in September for you is Mars and Venus. They're conjunct, meaning they're meeting up on the sky, doing the dance, and Venus is love and Mars is action and dynamic energy and your focus, your goal. And so when they come together, it's also love. So for those of you in a relationship, you want to circle September 1st on your calendar. This should be a date night for just the two of you. And if you are single, Cancer, do not sit at home. Go out and mingle. You don't know who you might meet or attract here on the 1st. Now on the 8th, we have Mars, which is your dynamic focus, goals, energies. They're going to meet up with Uranus. And Uranus is what I always call the wow factor, the unexpected, which kicks things into action, and especially when it is great aspects like we're going to have on the 8th. It's going to be a trine. So you could come to meet Mr. X, mystery man, out of the blue, or it could be your husband, your spouse, your significant other might surprise you with something unexpected on this date. And so you just want to see where that is going to come from. In addition, I'd like to say there could be some unexpected or expected news too. If you're waiting, this would be the date it could come to you, and that might tie into your earnings. Okay, maybe you'll get a raise or promotion or news of it here on the 8th, as Uranus is in the 10th house for career, Mars is in your 2nd house for money, income, and so forth. So something might just trigger. Then we have something I want you to look at as an opportunity, a challenge, which is actually going to pan out positively for you. But it might start out with a challenge where you're like, oh my God, here we go again. Here's, coming up against this one issue. And what is that? Mercury here is going to square off on Pluto. And Mercury is our thoughts, what we think, and how we express that or don't express that. Now, if there's things you haven't been expressing at home here, this is between you and your significant other. If you're in a relationship, it would be with him or her. If you're single, it could still be between you and somebody that you're close to. Mercury might have been bottling up something, and here comes where it might feel a little uncomfortable at first. But don't shy away, don't step back. The issue is arising now. Why? Because the universe is giving you an opportunity to get it off your chest. That's all it's asking. And Pluto wants to transform this so it can improve to something better in the relationship, the 7th house Pluto. So when you recognize it, you'll go, here's my shot, here's my clearing. So you may not find a resolve. Some of you might find a resolve right away. Mercury's in the 4th house of family, so this ties into a family member. So yes, it could be your spouse since the 7th house is involved, but it could be somebody close to you, rooted within the family that you need to express and get off your chest. But you're going to have two situations this month. The exact same aspect is coming back around. Why? Because Mercury is going to retrograde. So first it's going to hit, then it's going to pass, it's going to come retrograde, go right back over that same degree, which will be on the 24th. Now Mercury will retrograde on the 17th, and by the 24th, when it meets up again with Pluto this time around, if you didn't get it all off your chest, or if you weren't able to express every single detail of it, you might have that now as it interacts again. And what's going to be a little different, not only is Mercury retrograde, giving you the chance to retweak or redo, but on the 25th, Mars and Saturn are going to be square, but that's already felt on the 24th. It's going to be exact on the 25th, but it's already building up. So you have that going on there with the second round of your Mercury and Pluto. I'm feeling that Saturn and Mars, it's going to be, what is the issue? Okay, let's look at the issue. We know where it's coming from at the home and family or partner, but the issue itself is about your self-esteem, your values, what you have been working for, because Mars is in that 2nd house. And it's squaring up on Saturn there, and I think it has to do with that you don't really want to be controlled or pushed in a certain direction, or it's more like your individuality, I feel now, is what wants to come out to an expression. And this is because Saturn has had it. It's gone through that area for the last 2.5 years. And as it's liberating and freeing itself, Mars is simply saying, but this is what I'm doing now. Okay, you're trying to put your mark on your direction, giving yourself permission to actually choose what it is you prefer, so you don't always have to bow to the hierarchy that has been in power, should I say, just for the sake of peace. Okay, so you've been doing a lot of that. No longer though. This is why I'm saying this is a blessing in disguise for you. Do not step back, because it's an opportunity type of challenge. Now, if we're too sensitive and we really don't like confrontations, your first reaction would be, uh-oh, I don't want to go there. We're going to have waves. But that's what you've been doing for so long, Cancer. So see it as the universe giving you the strength now, the empowerment, the freedom to actually stand your ground. And because what you're doing is paving. You're opening up the door for what is to be down the road, months and years now to come. So I'm kind of excited to see exactly how this is going to work for you. I speak with so many of you, either on my lifeline on the phone, or also looking into your readings on the recordings. So I know what you've been working on. But here we go. This is the month where you're going to be cutting through. So excited. Now, on the 17th, you will see Jupiter and Neptune. They're going to oppose, but it's not a difficult opposition. What it's going to do for you, now that Jupiter is out of that second house of self-worth and those things that you value in life, now you're wanting to speak about it. Now you're wanting to take action. Jupiter is saying, hey, there's a whole new world out here that I could swim in. Think about you being a water element. You have a new pond now, and it's going to be here for you for a full year. It's connecting with Neptune up in the 9th house of higher consciousness. We can call it education. Not saying that you're going back to school. Some of you might. Some of you might just start researching or studying on your own time. And Neptune is spiritual. The 9th house is spiritual in itself. Jupiter now is reaching for those things, so you can start incorporating these new values that you feel that you have now achieved on your journey. Then we have the 22nd, Venus and Uranus. They're going to try. Mars just did it there on the 8th. Now Venus is going to cover that same degree, open up a door of unexpected surprises. I'm feeling you could get this maybe through a monetary gift, perhaps. Or maybe you'll go out and buy something that you've been wanting for a long time. It is money well spent, I have to say. It's Venus in your second house for those things that you feel you can pamper yourself with. Some of you might even get something from work if you're waiting for an interview. That could be the door opener here. So you'll have to see how it works out for you. On the 23rd, I'm feeling this is the day after. Whatever that surprise or whatever you gifted yourself or the gift you received on the 22nd is going to leave you feeling quite secure. On the 23rd, the Sun and Saturn, they're really coming together here. Saturn saying, this feels good, this is safe, this is secure. Saturn now, here on the 23rd, in your 6th house for day-to-day routine. And the Sun being in your 3rd house for communication, I feel that you're just setting the score. This is where I'm at. This is what I can do from now on. This is how I'm opening up my day-to-day routines. And then on the 24th, the day after, you're already feeling quite secure now. But on the 24th, that's when Mercury and Pluto meets up again. We just spoke about that. Saturn giving you the strength, the ability to cut through those things that are important to you. And your sense of self-value is strong. So yes, you have been somebody who's been quite patient. You know that routine very well now. And Mars is saying, I really don't need to be that patient no more, because I can act, I can make those conscious choices. And so the empowerment, this is why I'm saying September is going to be a great shift for you this month here, Cancer. I'm loving it. I'm just loving it for your sake. We have the full moon too, and this is coming in on the 27th in the area of career. So you might come to see that this area is going to be illuminated one way or the other. You're on center stage here. And so some of you might be receiving some good kudos, good pat on the shoulder for work well done. Some of you might be starting a new job. If so, you will have the illumination of this full moon to be with you as a blessing as you proceed. So we have that as well. So we're going to look at the events here for September. We've got a few things that are changing up on us. Venus has been retrograding all through that of August, which pretty much took you through your whole self-esteem repertoire. It's like what you really love and enjoy about yourself, the values that you want to hold on to, cultivate, and also looking at those things that you no longer care for. The retrogrades help you look at that, so that's balanced up. Now it's going direct from the 6th or 7th, depending on what time zone you're in. Of course, we're looking at a global time zone, right? So some will have it on the 6th, some will have it on the 7th. But then it should be picking up speed. Still, I feel here in your 2nd house, so it's going to be moving direct, and you're going to be collecting and harvesting not just monetary values, which you could pretty much throughout this month. At least you're going to be looking at numbers and crunching them, but it's also how you feel about yourself is going to take off after that. Mercury, we did mention, is retrograde between September 17th to that of October 9th. So if you can avoid, best possible to not have to sign in documents in this time, that's always what we recommend, but sometimes we have to do what we have to do. Saturn, as mentioned, is moving out of Scorpio, out of this 5th house, for feeling that the joy in your life has been a little dampened, like having a gray cloud here, right? Over the last 2.5 years. The sun is back into this area after the 17th. It is moving into your 6th house. And Mars is changing signs. It's ingressing out of Leo, where it's really loved being, because Mars is fire and Leo is fire, so it's really gelled really well. You've accomplished a lot in setting everything straight now, as far as your financial income, but also your value systems, as we spoke about. Now, it will move into your 3rd house of communication. And you're going to see from the 25th and moving into October that you're going to be more active, more out and about, to and fro. And maybe also catching up more with your siblings, I feel, can come into the picture, which I feel already just by having the Sun and Jupiter here might have picked up. But the 3rd house is also your closer community, your neighbors and so forth, or investing time in it, and travel, some short distance travel perhaps. Then finally we have Pluto. Pluto has been retrograde, and it has been retrograding in your relationship area. So you might have felt that things with your significant other has kind of slowed down here for the last few months, giving you both a little bit more breathing time to kind of download and integrate and embed the changes that it brought on prior to the last 4 to 5 months when it was direct. Then you were growing, you were expanding, you were changing and transforming, and now it's been quiet, integrating, but now watch Pluto wake up. It's time to start growing and expanding this area again. So you will see how that will now work for you, and whether the last round really did some magic. And in that case, that's wonderful. And if there's still more to do, well, I'm feeling this Pluto is getting that little kick in the butt there from Mercury, just as it's waking up. So it will have that as a transformative area to work with, to feed it, so to speak. So I hope you've been listening to your tarot forecast. It gives a little bit more extra insight and more additional action of what you can expect this coming month. And for those of you who haven't, I'll leave a link here for you so that you can go listen to them. And I'll see you next month there in October. Listen to your moon and rising sign, and I'll see you.